Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be talking about the corset, how to make a corset that you get by calculation. There are two types of corset wears. There is the one that you use only the bra cup to calculate. You get by using just the structure of the bra cup. Then there's one that you actually calculate the bustier, calculate the cup, and now insert the cup inside. So today we're going to, so the differences between the two of them, number one is that the major difference between the two types of corset is that the one that gotten by calculation has a dividing line. It has a bustier line in between, right? But for the one that is gotten with only the structure of the bra cup, it doesn't have any lines. It doesn't have any lines, so except maybe the boning lines. But this one has a dividing line by the two sides. Then another difference is that this cup, the one gotten with the structure of the bra cup, right, can only do this. It can only do a straight cut. It can only do a cup that, an outfit that is shaped in this form of neckline, or maybe a tubular neckline. But the one that is gotten through calculation, you can maneuver it. You can use it to do an off-shoulder dress, and as in you can use it to do an off-shoulder dress, or maybe a full shoulder dress, or anything you want to do. So let us continue. Now we're going to start. So we're going to start with getting our lines, our bust point, the under bust, and the half length. Now for the bust point, even a corset gotten through calculation, if the person's bust point and under bust is quite large, you have to shift the measurements up. You have to take the measurements up so that it has a good fit. So now for this outfit I'm making, the client's bust point and under bust is actually 11 and 15, but I'm going to be shifting it up. I'm going to be using 10 and 14. So let's continue. So we're marking our points now. And the off shoulder point, of course, is starting from 5. Because this is my client, she wants her sleeve to, she doesn't want the actual outfit has a mesh on the chest, net, nude net. But she doesn't want a nude mesh. She just wants, just the sleeve, and she wants the sleeve to be elevated to her shoulder tip. So that's why I'm doing this calculation corset. So now we're marking the points. So I'm using bust point 10 and under bust 14 for this client. Get our lines, our straight line. It won't be advisable to use, like for people with bust point 12 and under bust 16. If you do a calculation and you don't shift their points up, the corset dress, it will look funny. It will look actually very funny. So it's better to shift their measurements up. So now we've gotten this. Now I'm also going to get the armhole point distance, which I'm using as 8.5. I'm using 8.5 as my armhole distance, right? And like I said, my bust point here is 10 and under bust 14. Then the half length is 17. I added half inch, 17.5. So now her measurements are bust point 42 and waist is 37. So bust point 42 divided by 4 is actually 10.5. Then we're going to add 3 inches allowance to it. So another difference between the cup corset and the calculation corset is that for the cup corset, you don't need to, the cup is by the time you're done, the cup will actually give you almost all the allowance you need. You don't need to add much allowance when using the cup corset. When doing the cup corset, you don't need to add much. Maybe 1 inch is okay to the bust I'm talking about. But for this one gotten by calculation, you have to add the normal bustier allowance you usually add. So that's it. So her waist is 37. Client's waist is 37. So this is it. I'm adding the 4 inches, 1 2 3 4, to the measurement. So now you draw your lines. I hope you are taking note of the differences between the cup corset and calculation corset, so you know when to use which. And let's say if a client gives you an outfit, you would know exactly when to use which. So now we continue. So armhole, I'm marking the armhole, which I'm using as 10.5 here. Of course, it all depends on the client involved, right? So it's 10.5. Remember, so now we want to do our calculations. Now, the point I'm using a bust span of 8 for the client, and I'm adding 1/2 inch for joining allowance. Of course, that's 4.5, right? So we are doing and of course, as a normal bustier, we remove at least 2 from the under bust. That's 1 on each side, right? So we do it this way. Okay, so now we've gotten our points. Now okay, so now if we notice, the distance between the bust point and the under bust is 4 inches. So this is how so we're now going to use this 4 inches. We're going to take it round. We're going to mark it at each point round. If you have a compass, this is where a compass is really a compass. That's a compass in the mat set. If you have it, just put your pencil there and just from 4 inches just draw it round. But as I don't have a compass, I'm going to mark my points. So you mark this 4 inches. This distance from the bust to the under bust, that's what you now mark around. This is your basis. This is your basis. So marking around. You can also use a pencil. I'm using a biro, but you can use a pencil. No, it doesn't matter. It will get you to make your work neater. So now we've gotten our marks. Now it's time to get our cups. Right. So let's start. So now 5. The bottom, that's the neckline. I'm going to take it as low as 8.5 inches. Okay, so it's going to be as well as 8.5 inches. And of course this is 1/2 inch, right? Then we remember to also do our curves, our upper curves, right? So this is it. So now at this point, you can, at this point, you do your curves. Now of course when you are curving, when you are doing this your bustier curve, right, you can use a hip curve or you can use your hands to get your curve. Now, like I said, the dip, I don't know. Okay, the dip is going to be, let me use 8 inches for the dip. On the sweetheart dip, let me use 8 inches. So now I'm taking this dip back to this point. As we've all seen. So this is how it's going to be. So you just take your sweetheart back to this point. Then at this point now, what we usually do, how we get the curve at this point is that you slant your tape at this point. You slant your tape and measure 1.5 inch. Then this 1.5 inch is what we now, from this 1.5 inch, you now draw it back to your curve, your lines, the lines that you're trying to get. So you can see it's taking shape. And you now draw a straight line. Now this is the center front. So now for the side front, we'll come to this point of the circle and add 1 extra inch. If the person has a really big bust, you can add 1.5, but I'm adding 1 extra inch, right, to the side, to this bust point side. Then you now curve it back to your under bust. Then take the measurement up from this 1 inch. So this is our side front. So it's pretty much, this is pretty much it. This is center front cup, this is side front cup. Then you cut like so. So this is it. So now we want to cut. Watch how I'm cutting. Of course, you know when you are doing your bustier curve, you keep like at least 1/2 inch above the, as in your curve is not going to be a pointed curve, it's going to be a blended curve, in the sense that you keep one, as in you do your curve in such a way that it's going to be straight at least 1/2 inch above and 1/2 inch below the bust point, so that it doesn't look like a superhero curve. I'm talking about these 2 points now, of course. These 2 points, it has to be at least ½ inch above or ½ inch below. Sometimes you can even take it as much as in your hand has to be straight. Sometimes it can even be as much as 1 inch above and below. Okay, so this is the center front cup. There you go. So this is the body, center front, side front, then center front, side front. So this is what we're going to be dealing with now. So now we want to translate it to the fabric. I hear you. Okay. Are you ready? Let's start it. Let's start it. Okay, so now, guys, we are here. Now we want to okay, so guys, so now we're translating it to our fabric. We are going to, of course, you know, as we have cut this cup out of this, right? If you are putting it back, it cannot be the same again. We're going to do the same thing I would do for the calculation corset. We're going to keep ½ inch joining allowance to join the cup back on both the bodies and the cup itself. Of course, I've already kept allowances on the body, so that's why I'm not keeping an extra one on that side again. And I actually don't want the cup to go higher than 5 inches. I actually want it to come down a bit by, you know, ½ inch. That's why I know I'm not keeping an extra one up there again. I'm just giving all these as so we are cutting. So we've gotten the center front and side front for the bodies. Now we'll be doing the same for the cup. At this point now, Of course, like I told you, we're going to be keeping 1/2 inch to join the cup back to the body. Okay. So center front, we're cutting center front now, remain the side front. We'll be doing same. And we cut. So now we're done with this. We're going to be using, for the cups or for the fabrics, we're going to be using either hairstay or hard paper stay for the fabrics, so that at least they have structure. Then we'll show you how to sew it as we go along. So this is the result of our calculation corsets. These are the outfits that we used the calculation corset method to achieve. So you can see all of them. They are maneuvered. We maneuvered in different ways, and we were able to get our result. We're not able to show how these were sewn because the video is already long enough, but I will do that in another video. Thank you for watching. We hope you try yours, and we hope you know the differences now between the calculation and cup corset. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.